Hello? Am I live? Can you see me? Am I on the TV? Oh, there I am. Hi. um, this is my first live stream, so I'm literally just I'm getting used to this. Hi everyone, welcome to the Comics Coffee Table, live and direct from our Boston studios, which is down the street from the corner. I usually say pre-recorded, but this is being filmed before a live studio audience of my stuffed animals and yourself. It's the Comics Coffee Table. How are you? Hey, everybody. We've got Lane Kramer's already checked in. That's cool. And I've been on plenty of live streams. I should really know what's going. Eric K's in the house. How are you? With that handsome first name of yours, sir. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Hope you were able to go to the LA Comic-Con and see Gary and Max and the whole gang. Indeed. How are you? Welcome to the Comics Coffee Table, where we take a break in our day and we talk about comic books, our hobby. And it is new, on Sundays we do a magazine show called the New Release Review, and where we look in this bag of funny books. This is the ubiquitous brown paper bag flat, full of funny books, brand new that we got. And also, I got something in the mail. Indeed. And good to see you, Dwayne Muth. How's Buffalo doing today? I mean, how you doing there? I mean, my Patriots aren't doing too hot today, let me tell you. Yeah, we're getting shut out at home again. Hey there, James. Good to see you. It's the Wicked Fanboy. Good to see everyone. Thank you for showing up, everyone, to my first live chat. And it's my first live stream. And I'm enthused. I really am. I'm really tired, to be honest with you, too. I had the poorest night's sleep last night. I was only able to get about maybe 4 hours between, say, 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. or something like that. But I'm gonna stay up until bedtime, and hopefully I'm just gonna crash out and be fine tomorrow. It's a work day. And so thank you so very much. Good to see you, Carrie. How you doing there, girl? Good to see you, friend. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Yeah, it's cold and wet here in Boston as well, Dwayne. Where it's like 45 degrees Fahrenheit, cloudy and rainy, and that's about that. So it is new release review day. I have a bunch of Marvel comics that we can get to today. I did not get any DC comics in my pirate treasure chest this week. That's fine. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but I'm just grateful and blessed that I got a buddy that shares with me their digital copies, their review copies. I Image Comics as well, some Skybounds, some indies here and there. And we're going to go down the list alphabetically today of the Marvel comics that I read this week. And then at the end of the show, we'll find out what's in the bag. That's right. Thank you so very much. And from Pikachu, our executive producer, from Jay, the Canadian Bear, our studio audience. And he's out of frame, but he's in his control booth at Drinka. You might remember him from previous live streams. And thank you so very much. I said that again, didn't I? It's in the show notes. I'm only the talent. I read down what Pika writes, and yeah. Oh, we don't have any December show notes because, we changed the show up a little bit. But thank you so very much for tuning in today. The show started last year on January 1st, 2022, where we used this book, The Golden Age of DC Comics, 365 Days, and it gave us a framework on how to do a daily show where we can assemble once a day and talk about comic books, our hobby, our pastime, and recently I came to the conclusion that the Daily Show was, it had to come to its natural end. I mean, I went 564 days of consecutive daily content. And I'm very proud of that. And I'm very proud of everyone else out there who's tuned in to this Comics Coffee Table, this ongoing comic book shop style conversation that we continue here. And so I was just going to take it back old school just for a couple of minutes to start the show off. This hardcover coffee table book was given to me about 2 decades ago by one of my best friends, and it's been surfing my coffee table ever since. Hence the Comics Coffee Table. Hardcover coffee table book, coffee table, hello. And I brought water today. It's a little too late in the afternoon for me to be drinking coffee. And I'm enthused. So we're going to do it old school. We're going to open up this book to today's date. We're going to look at some comic book art of an antediluvian age. We're going to read the blurb, and then we're going to talk about comic books. And we're going to talk about comic books, well, just as much as we can, usually on Wednesdays and Sundays going forward. Wednesdays, we go over the new release menu. It's Wednesdays is traditionally New Comic Book Day, and I'll be going to my local comic book shop and picking up my new releases. If you see, I'm in the Boston area. I literally have 8 local comic book shops in striking distance of the Fortress of Solitude, our Boston studios. And some people don't have one comic book shop. So I offer to you, there's the deets are in the description, the details. Get a hold of Yule Carter at Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. Your local comic book shop could be your mailbox away. He's actually putting together a couple of comics that I missed last week. I've shopped with him a few times now. He's reliable, he's courteous, he's kind, he's caring, and he puts together a proper Gemini mailer. And he'll give you a transit number or the tracking number rather, and they've gotten to here from coast to coast in less than a week. I've been satisfied with all of my purchases from Yule Carter and Fantastic Comics, so check him out. His deets are in the description of the show. So let's get to it. Let's look at some comic. Let's open up the book to today's date. It is December the 3rd. And it's Tommy Tomorrow. That's right. Let's read the blurb. This is story by Otto Binder, pencils by Kurt Swan, who you might know from Superman of the the Silver and Bronze Age. Inks by John Fischetti. This is from Action Comics, issue number 141, February of 1950. All right. The unearthly jungles of Venus, the fairest red deserts of Mars, the icy planet Pluto, and the lightning world of Mercury. There is one world on which all of these exist, and their dangers exist there too. Tommy Tomorrow must brave untold amazing peril as he is assigned to snare a spy. Here you go. This is a good book. You can also find the link to get your own copy. It makes a great gift for a geek, especially with the holiday season coming up. And let's read the blurb real quick. Tommy Tomorrow, who got his start in 1946 in Real Fact Comics, was a science fiction character who eventually found a more appropriate home in the pages of Action Comics. The Action Comics has had backup features and has been an extra thick comic all this time, along with Detective Comics as well. Initially a teenage space cadet, people called me that too as well when I was younger, Tommy eventually arose to the rank of Colonel of the Planeteers. In this story, he sends 4 young recruits to Training World, where they must brave the perils of 50 worlds in one. That's the arena echo, just as he did many years before, but still in the future, as far as the readers were concerned. And this is a really interesting book. This has been curated and written by Les Daniels and Chip Kidd with photographs by Jeff Spear. So these are not just reprints of comic books. These are photographs of aspects of a page. So this is the opening page of the Tommy Tomorrow story. Sometimes it's a bit of a cover. Sometimes it's some antediluvian advertisements. Antediluvian means before the Noah flood. This is true. Look, I love words. You can look that one up in your dictionary. And but yeah, that's how the show started last year. We would do this every day. We began this comic book shop style conversation. It started as a humble little show, usually about 8 to 10 minutes, and it grew to like 15 minutes, then to 20 minutes. And usually now our daily show we were doing half-hour shows, and which I thought was a really comfortable kind of a nice show. And but yeah, so lately we're going to be doing Wednesdays and Sundays. So revolving around new releases. I got a week off around Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's. So I have one long box left that we're going to get to. So we're going to return. We're going to finish the year strong with returning to the daily show for the last week of the year. And we're going to fulfill the commitment that I made at the beginning of this year and this season that I dedicated to my parents. They bought me the Overstreet Price Guide and the Overstreet Guide to Grading. It's been a really interesting adventure, learning more and more about the quality of comics, what dings will do, and how they accumulate and devalue your comics, the importance of husbandry, about properly taking care of your comics with bags and boards. I should have been using boards the entire time. This has been a big live and learn moment for yours truly, especially for Pika. He loves, like saying that to me, like, I should have been using boards the entire time. He just, thanks. Yeah, you know what? I saw your tweet with Yule Carter was not only hooked Carrie up with Big Game by Mark Millar, you got some variant covers. And it was just like, oh my gosh, the dog is going to slobber on those variant covers. I didn't really do that. Beautiful dog you have. But yeah, let's get to it. We're going to go down the list alphabetically. Hey, Bone! Bone is in the house. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Hey, everybody. This is great. Like, seriously, I've never been the captain of my own live stream before. I've been on plenty. And you know what? Shout out to Wes of Thinking Critical. Thank you, brother. God bless you. I am eternally grateful that you saw my show somehow and then thought that I was cool enough for you to invite on your show once. And you've been inviting me back ever since. I am proud to be one of Wes's Thinking Critical's comic aficionados. And I've met a lot of you out there in this live chat through that show. I've been on shows with Carrie and a few times now. And I've made a really great community here, a fellowship of these fans, and I'm just blessed and grateful, and spirituality goes a long way with me. I'm an ordained minister, a spiritual dude, so I know spirituality has really helped me as a human being cope in this planet Earth. But let's get to some comic books that we read this week. Starting off with Amazing Spider-Man Gang War. Number 1. It's the Gang War First Strike. It was $5.99 for 36 pages of story and art and cover art and a map of the territories. And I'm like, when did Shang-Chi become a gang lord? Apparently, maybe he's undercover, but this wasn't that bad. It wasn't. Not much to say. It's just like there are 30 issues, 30 different floppies going on with Gang War. So between, say, like $3.99, $4.99 is probably going to be your baseline, and your $5.99 specials here and there. If you're tuned into all of Gang Wars without variant covers, this is going to cost you about $150. And I kind of learned the hard way about, having that completist node in your head about, I was big into the weekly 52 from DC Comics. And then its follow-up the next year was called Countdown to Final Crisis, which I got mostly every tie-in, and I got every week. And that thing must have cost about $180 or $190 for like 1 year's worth of comics, of Wednesdays. And good reasons to go to your local comic book shop every Wednesday to keep on top of it. But in hindsight, Countdown didn't matter one bloody bit. I mean, the Death of the New Gods. I did not get the Death of the New Gods mini. I did not get Lord Havoc and the Extremists. But like, none of those stories mattered. None of those things led and had an impact into eventually what would transpire in Grant Morrison's Final Crisis. So, live and learn, kid. My mom says that. I grew up with hearing that. Live and learn, kid. Well, she's right. Captain America number 3, $4.99 for 24 pages of story and art and cover art and info dump pages by J. Michael Straczynski and Jesus Saiz. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your names. It's not personal. This series is a big miss for me personally. I just, it looks nice. J. Michael Straczynski is a really good writer, but it's got a big butt too. I'm being cheeky. Oh, I made a crack, and oh my goodness, he's making butt jokes and puns. Oh, geez. Yes, Dwayne, I totally agree. Actually, when I was going through the 52 weeklies, I noticed I was lacking week 12. So hopefully, I sent Yule Carter of Fantastic Comics a short list of things I'm looking for to complete runs, and it's good to know someone with a comic book shop. Maybe he can hook me up. Let's see what happens. I'll let you know when that comes through. But yeah, so the new Cap isn't really, it's a miss for me. I just Philip Kennedy Johnson would make a great, writer for that too, because he is active U.S. military. I found he's like, I guess he's part of the military, the U.S. military band, the U.S. Army band as well. That's really interesting. And so, hey, way to go there. And thank you for your service, Mr. Johnson. And thanks. I'm a lifelong civilian. But yeah, as I was saying about Weston Thinking Critical, yeah, like he's had me back on the show like for the past year and a half. And it's like, I'm so blessed and grateful. And that also, it's like, I'm his bench player. I like to say I get points off the bench. You know what I mean? I get calls, not literally. He does not call me from the Philippines, but it's more like, hey, can you get in the show right now? Like, sure. Someone bailed at the last minute. I'm like, yeah, I'll be happy to jump on your show. This is great. And it's nice to be like, I guess I'm the voice of positivity, which just blows my mind because I can be evil. I really can. I gotta, as I like to say, the older we get, the more sides we get, just like a 20-sided die. And sometimes they roll a 1 and sometimes they roll a 20. And, but as I like to say, like, I like to roll the ocho because you put another ocho on its side, 8, it's infinity. And but it's nice to be the voice of positive. Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, I mean, it's because it's hard to be positive in our current culture. I mean, like, we all kind of been united through our outrage cultures and the outrage shows. Like, I love FNT. I just sometimes I get so I get too wound up by it. I want to decompress and relax. It's hard for me sometimes to watch FNT. I'll show up and I like to check in with the chat and just show up for a couple of minutes, but then sometimes it just gets a little too high test. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go tune into some Bob Ross. And I end up watching Bob Ross on Friday nights a lot of the times too. I miss Doomcock's show too. I kind of got off of watching Doomcock because I stopped drinking so much on Friday nights. But those are the shows that got us through, got me through lockdown 2020 was FNT, Gary's Nerdrotic show, and Doomcock's, Friday Night Frolics as well. So all love to all of these creators. Hey, AL! Pika says hello, of course. Thank you very much for showing up, AL. And it's good to see everybody. Let's see. Okay, what we got here? Let's see. Here we go. Okay. So I lost my. Okay. And sorry, you're gonna see me mouth breathe for a little bit. All right, here we go. And so I'm eternally grateful to Wes, who keeps calling me back for the show, and I'll keep answering the call. And it's good to have somewhere a good platform and great panel shows to share my unique point of view. And it's really nice because I've met all of you out there. We got Luke Cage, Gang War, number 1, $4.99. One of the 30 books of Gang War. This wasn't that bad at all. Written by Rodney Barnes, art by Ramon F. Box, and it's just his secret superhero suit was a little silly looking. But he has to be incognito because apparently there's a law. He's currently the mayor of New York. So there's a law in New York City right now that, superheroes have been kind of like banned. So if he has to do anything, he has to keep it on the DL. Now, speaking of Luke Cage, now here's something that kind of just blew my mind a little bit. I'm looking at the Howard the Duck 2003 50th anniversary issue, $5.99, 34 pages, a lot of different writers. I got Kibblesmith for the first time in my life. That was a couple of minutes of my life I won't get back. Chip Zdarsky, he's okay. He's not the best, but this wasn't a great issue for me personally. But okay, last year in 2022, that was Luke Cage's 50th anniversary. There was no anniversary trade dress, no special issue, but an effing duck. Howard the Duck. I like Howard the Duck and all, It's an acquired taste. He's got it's a funny sense of humor. It's pretty warped, and there are some fun stuff to this book. But I'm just looking at it like, come on, one of the biggest African American heroes who got his own title in 1972, Luke Cage, Hero for Hire, and then he got a best friend Danny Rand, and then it became Power Man and Iron Fist after that. But you have this huge leading African American hero. 50 years, that's an impressive and no anniversary issue, and a duck gets that. Where's the justice where's the justice? I don't know, but if you like Howard the Duck, you might like this. There's Marvel Zombies issue number 2. It's Marvel Zombies Black, White, and Blood. That's right. I like these anthology issues because they have a couple of different stories. I like the black and white art and with the red. And the last issue, we actually got a Garth Ennis Punisher story with Frank Castle. That was pretty fun. I like that. That was a really good one. So this one, it was a miss for me. Not so much. But the next issue, it's got Peach Momoko. And I am a sucker for Peach Momoko. I love Peach Momoko's art because it's confounding, it's confusing, it's thought-provoking, it's a lot of show don't tell, a lot of natural organic line. I just got, yes, I'm looking forward to Peach's Ultimate X-Men. She's actually done a lot of cover art with Cherry Pop Tart. Cherry Pop Tart is an adult erotica that's been around since, I believe, the 80s, and it's done in the Archie style. And it's not for everyone. I like erotica. I think it's pretty fun and pretty, but let's see. Oh, and James is asking, he hasn't purchased any new comics in 6 years. What can you recommend? James is a movie screenwriter, a movie maker, and is a big fan of proper storytelling, um, ideas. I would tell you to, anything done by Ram V. And he's currently doing Detective Comics. It's a slow burn, but it's got really good art by Sean. I think his name's Sean Alexander, and who's got these. He gives Batman really pointy ears and curled up shoulders, so it's very much like Kelly Jones. I really, really enjoy that, and let's see. And Lane Kramer's here. Lane Kramer was he was first today in the chat. That was awesome. Good to see you, Lane. Thank you so very much. Let's see. I know Dwayne Muth is like Ramsey because he is a slow burner. Really is. Also, if you might want to try Transformers by Philip Kennedy Johnson. I mean, Daniel Warren Johnson on Skybound Image. It's just another retelling of the classic Transformers tale, but it's all real or pencils. It's real pencils, real inks, and it's real onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is a word that's spelled the way it sounds. And a lot of the times today with lettering, it's a lot of drop and drag, cut and paste, where the letterer is working from, a computer. And way back in the day, with us geezers, lettering was done by hand. And the artist, a lot of the times, did the sound effects by hand as well. James, I would also suggest Philip Kennedy Johnson's current The Incredible Hulk. Great art by Nick Klein, Travel Foreman, and it's moody. It's you open the book and you hear the Lonely Man piano theme in that minor key from the TV show, and it's Bruce Banner walking alone, trying to deal with the beast that lives inside of him, and it's really good. But yeah, so I'm going to be back for Marvel Zombies Black, White, and Blood next month because I will buy things just because of Peach Momoko. What else we got? We got Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 12. This is a part 3 of a 3-issue mini arc where he's teaming up with Blade, the vampire, the Daywalker, and his daughter, Bloodline, who's got modern purple hair and modern, she's a completely modernly coded, character. But hey, this is a completely modern magazine. Cody Ziegler's the writer, Partha Pradham's the artist. It's not entirely bad. It's just that I learn a lot about comics from different YouTubers. Specifically, I'm not a bad person. I just watch them. He's not a bad person either. The only people that take him that seriously are his enemies. He doesn't even take himself that seriously. But Ethan Van Sciver's told me that a few times on his draw streams that when you see a panel and there's nothing but color and a little blur effects in the background, it's a big cheat for the artist because they didn't draw a background. And so they rely on the colorist to help them out there. And but it's Miles Morales, Spider-Man. They're fighting vampires, and it was okay. You know what I mean? It's a competent spot. This is a competent superhero story, and hopefully young readers are reading it. There's Moon Knight number 29 by Jed McKay. This is called The Last Days of Moon Knight. Moon Knight's an incredibly popular character right now. And he got his own TV show on D+, and he had another a 5-issue mini called City of the Dead that came out recently at the same time as he's got an ongoing. So Moon Knight's getting a lot of attention, and it's one of Marvel's big sellers as well. How do we know? We can only assume, because numbers are not transparent anymore. And let's see, what else do we have today? And I'd like to, and these are all in my digital pirate chest. It's great. One of my reviewer friends shares with me their stash. And we're going to save the most provocative one of these alphabetically right at the end. So yeah, it's coming. Don't worry. We're going to talk about some stuff. We've got Miss Marvel number 4 of 4, which is co-written by Imam Vellani, who's the young actress who played Kamala Khan in the movies and on the TV show. It's Ms. Marvel, the New Mutant. She's one of the X-Men. I got to tell you, I like the design of her costume. I really do. I'm also hesitant to share art. I wanted to let you know that I've gotten a lot of feedback from viewers and people. One of the most consistent questions I get is, why don't I share screen grabs of the art? Well, it's because I like to keep it low key, lo-fi, almost podcast like. But I think that showing images like that, I mean, I don't want to get burned like 3 years from now when Marvel changes their minds on copyright infringements and strikes and things. Like, I hear these horror stories from decent YouTubers just trying to make content that, like, oh my gosh, my channel got struck because of a 3-year-old video. I mean, that's a kick in the pants, man. And so I avoid that by not putting music and by not sharing. I could be sharing art, but it's a conscious choice I make just to avoid any complications. I think, Pika says I'm entertaining enough as is. And thank you, Pika. I really appreciate you. But it's Miss Marvel, the New Mutant. She's an X-person now. She's an X-Men. She's also in college. It's her freshman year in college. It's also got the Fall of X trade dress. What's trade dress? Trade dress is the cover of your comic book, and that it has a certain, like, say, like Dawn of DC, Fall of X. That's a trade dress. Those are just additional markings and information. And also it's part of, like, the iconic cover of, like, the big, like, the Superman font, something like that. That's trade dress. Where the maker's mark goes, where the UPC symbol goes, and the price, stuff like that. But yeah, so it's all part of this big X story. There's a big Fall of X story going on. And well, hello, Dr. Nitrogen. Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in today for our first live stream. That's right, we're live today. And I agree. Yeah, IDW is pretty screwed. They lost most of their licenses. They lost their Hasbro license to Skybound. And so Skybound is now doing G.I. Joe and Transformers. Hopefully they'll get to do My Little Pony too. Because bronies spend money and bronies love their stuff. So, but yeah, Miss Marvel number 4 comes to it wraps it up. It just leads into the next part of Fall of X. And then, so it's just, it happened. There you go. And I like the design of her costume. I actually like Kamala Khan as a character because she's positive. She's got a smile. She has fun. She likes what she does. I mean, I know people like to bag on her and stuff like that, but I got nothing but love for Kamala Khan. Why not? Here is probably my pick of the week from Marvel. It's called Predator versus Wolverine, issue number 3. It's written by Ben Percy, and it's got a rotating selection of artists. And it's in the 20th Century Studio imprint. They're doing the Alien comics, and they also have, the Predator comics, like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Predator. And this is $5.99, but it's 29 pages of story art and cover art. and it tells different parts of Logan's life running into the Predator, and it's really, I think it's fun. I think a lot of people like to bag on Ben Percy. Yep, he deserves it sometimes, but this is the first time for the past 6 months or so I've really gotten my head around the Marvel bullpen. Jerry Duggan, Jed McKay, Ben Percy, Steve Fox, Steve Orlando, just like even Dan Slot and Greg Pack and Melissa Wong. Sorry. They've all blocked me on Twitter. Hey, Donnie Cates, how's that? Hey. Good to see you, Mark McGrath. How you doing, buddy? We are live. This is true. But Predator versus Wolverine's really fun. I like fun in comics, and it's also well drawn too. So you have different parts of Wolverine's life. Like it opens up in the late 1800s in the Yukon, where he's a young man with bone claws. I love Bone Claw Wolverine, man. I was probably like 20, 21 years old when Fatal Attractions came out, and that's when Magneto pulled the adamantium off of Logan's bones, and then he's like snicked, and there was the bone claws. You know what I mean? And it's just like that blew my mind because I grew up on the Marvel Handbook, so it always looked like there was some kind of mechanism. You know what I mean? That his claws were part of some kind of added weaponry. No, he always had the claws. And I just love that. That was great. And because they would grow back too, because of his healing factor. His Bone Claw Wolverine really rules for me. So it's Predator versus Wolverine. It works. It's fun use of the action figures in the toy box. And Lane Kramer hates Bone Claw Wolverine. I hear you. Bone didn't like when Wolverine went feral. I'm weird. I admit that. But yeah, I'm enjoying the hell out of this. I really am. And that's probably my favorite Marvel magazine of the week. Realm of X number 4. Not much to say about this. It's written by Torunn Grønbekk. She is part of the Marvel bullpen. She's writing Thor. She's writing a couple of other titles as well. This is okay. I come off sounding misogynist. I know. I own that. I'm okay with that too. But not really. No, I love women. But this is, like, as I like to say, it's by girls, made for girls. Well, it should be made for X-Men fans, sure. But it's an all-girl X-Men team. And it just wraps up. It's just like this was vapid. It went nowhere. It was a lot of wheel spinning. And it's just, girl power stuff. But you know what? Girls need their titles too, in a way. I feel like I'm at my most misogynistic when I say something like, hey, who needs power fantasies more than girls? I mean, especially getting, beat. And of course, Thor shows up and he's treated like an idiot. Seriously. And that's like, oh, I saw that coming a mile away. But we've got like New Mutants with like, we got, well, here, I'll read one thing I like about these Marvel comics is they have an info sheet which shows you the cast of characters. We got Magic, Ilyana Rasputin. We got Mirage. We got Dust. We got Marrow. We got Curse, who's that pointy-headed girl from X-Men Green. And we also got Typhoid Mary, who's a really good Daredevil bad girl. Yeah, like that one a lot. But yeah, this went absolutely nowhere. But hey, it's just, Marvel has to produce X amount of titles for the X office. They do. Here's one that surprised me. Now, I'm a lifelong Star Wars fan. I don't watch Disney Plus. I don't want to. I just think it. I'm an original trilogy fan. I was a kid when that came out. Had all the action figures. I mean, my friends would always play Star Wars. Love Star Wars. I just think that the Disney brand has diluted the just the mythology of it. I mean, the more you define things, the less mythological it gets, the more you want to incorporate and intersect real world stuff, the less mythological it gets. Hey, George Lucas, how you doing, buddy? Good to see it. AL, yeah, we were both misogynists. But I'm enjoying this Star Wars title. It's Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is issue 3. And it's got really good art by Salvador LaRocca, who did a lot of X-Men books. And I think there's only 5 issues of this. This is the issue where he first comes across, it's Obi-Wan. He's found young Leia. He's protecting her, and he runs across Darth Vader for the first time. And they'll have their big duel of the show's duel in the last issue, in issue 5. But what I like the most about this, that it's divorced from the TV show. I felt like the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show has a lot of luggage on both sides of the fandom aisle, especially from StarWars.com, Star Wars Twitter, the whole Moses Ingram thing of like, oh, you're a racist if you say anything about this actress. And she's gotten so much hate mail, but you just and show the show. Why not show all of them? Why not publicly shame these anonymous trolls, because they're anonymous trolls, and there's only so much you can do, but show the bloody tweet, show the stuff. Let's find out who they are, and then say, hey, knock that shit off. But to equivocate all criticism of this to be like it's the Reva show, oh, you're being a racist, no, F off, no thanks. But then comes like the usual outrage on our side of the aisle in a way, and it's like when can we start liking stuff again? When we start making quality stuff? Yeah, I get it. But this is like so distilled, the story notes. So it's like we're not wasting any time, not wasting any, there doesn't seem to be any wasted story beats in the comic book. And I really like the art. I really like the pacing. I really like Reva in this because it's completely divorced from all of the luggage of the show. With so this is refreshing. I like being able to enjoy a Star Wars book. I really do. And I'm not buying it, but I'm really glad I'm reading it. And there's Spider-Woman #1, Gang War. She's purposely being drawn unsexy. It's like really awful. And it wasn't that great. And hey, as I've heard, like this will probably only go about 6 issues. This is probably a mini, and it's just not being advertised as so, unless it catches on, and then hopefully maybe it will get like extended if it's good. Yes, Mark, it is the Obi-Wan Kenobi comic is an adaptation of the show. So it's like you have photorealistic art of the actors. So I've only seen 8 minutes of that show, and it was the final duel with the series finale duel between Vader and Obi-Wan, which I thought was pretty good because I like lightsaber fights. But I'm like this and like the Mandalorian season 2 book. I'm like I said, it's like it's had some time to cool off. The story beats are distilled. There's not a lot. I'm not being distracted with the bad recreations of John Williams music. I'm enjoying a few of these, and yeah, I mean, like I heard the show was kind of terrible, but the book itself, it's all right so far. But this Spider-Woman magazine, I mean, Carol Danvers shows up. It's girl power, but sure, I hope someone enjoys it. Now comes to the final issue in our Marvel Pirate chest. X-Men Blue Origin #1. Yes, indeed. The cause célèbre of the week. Hey, man, I looking back, I mean, is there gay coding between Destiny and Mystique? I mean, maybe, maybe not. I kind of see it. It doesn't, it's an interpretation. It's nice that you can flesh that out. It's good to have gay characters. I mean, I'm not going to diss, I could gay relatives, gay aunts, gay uncles, gay friends, gay coworkers. I'm a chef. I have gay guests. There's just gay people everywhere, dude. I mean, like, and so I think that it's the 21st century. We're almost a quarter way into the 21st century, and there are positive parts about normalization. I think a lot of this has to do with there shouldn't be a closet anymore. Gay people should not have to be closeted. I really believe that, and that this is part of it too. I don't think it's a huge or dishonest stretch to put Destiny and Mystique together. I mean, I do believe that retconning and complicating Kurt's origin like that, that's box checking and that's unnecessary. And and ultimately, though, it's written by Cy Spurrier, who's give or take. I mean, he's written some decent stuff. His work on The Flash is okay. But I mean, and this issue itself ends nicely. It ends with the whole Paul Simon, the mother and child reunion song. It's Kurt and Raven reuniting and walking off together, and they're going to have a new relationship together. As son and mother, which I thought was pretty nice. But all the tinkering, there's a lot of modernity in there, and is it necessary? For whom? I actually did some research a little bit. There's a place called the Williams Institute. It's from the University of California, Los Angeles School of Law, and it's about and that they do a lot of advocacy for LGBT rights in law. And on their estimates in 2020, 2021, 5.6% of the population in America, in the United States of America, identify as LGBTQ. And I mean, so how many of those adults, 5.6% of the adult population identify? I mean, that's between the ages of 18 and like 70. And where they got these numbers, it's all there on the website. So if you accept this prima facie, please. But how many of those people are buying comic books? How many stories do you need to represent a very small population who might not be buying comic books? And my biggest gripe about this comic book has to be it's an X-Men comic book, and there's little to no action in this. X-Men comic books, these are superhero comics. They're supposed to be action comics. These are action-based, and here we go. Just characters, their identities, their feelings, and lots of talking. Is that a waste of time? Is that a waste of money? Is that a waste of story beats? Maybe. But when you say stuff like that, things get conflated to be like, you're punching down on marginalized people. No, I'm not going to agree to that at all. And I just, yeah, but this is X-Men Blue Origins. And this was one of the most controversial. This was the outrage this week. And so there's only so much outrage I can take. I mean, there's just get used to it. There are gay people in life. I mean, so I understand that people don't want their stories tinkered with. I mean, there's Alan Scott, there's Tim Drake, there's Bobby Drake. There was like a lot of that. There's definitely some trolling going on in there. It's just to wind up some existing fans. And if you do that, like, you're going to be like, oh, look, they're bigots. You see, like, they're getting mad about gay people. Geez, I don't want to give. I've always, like, I feel like I'm Christ giving the Romans the nails if I do that. So I'm replacing my outrage with laughter now. And this is my official stance. I'm going to laugh and be like, oh my goodness, you must be totally needy and insecure to want to insist all that all the time. Get over it. Enjoy your funny book. Come on. That's what I'm taking out of this. I'm so done with just apoplectic rage rants, getting, like, I don't know, but I'm not going to tell you how to feel. I am not going to tell you how to react. And I'm not going to tell you what to do with your outrage. You know what I get outraged about? Friggin', you, Donnie Cates, like, creators, you, Tim Sheridan, you, Jadzia Axelrod, you, Becky Cloonan, all these good people creators, you, David Papoose. I mean, Jesus. The only creator I've ever had a negative, interaction with that I deserved to block was Tom King. And, I mean, geez, I earned that, but everyone else, it's just like, cause you're adjacent, screw you, seriously. But yeah, that was X-Men Origin Blue issue 1, an X-Men title with little to no action. I think the only action you got was when Raven kills her husband, Christian Wagner. And we have come to the point of the show where, what's in the bag? What's in the bag? What did I buy this week for new comic books? It's the ubiquitous brown paper bag, the flat that we get from the local comic book shop. Let's see. I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 floppies this week. I also got 2 short boxes at $7.99 a piece. So I spent about $44 at my local comic book shop, my LCS. So I'm buying my supplies there. It's like one thing I usually say in every show is the importance of our local comic book shops and that they need our patronage. These are local businesses that made it through lockdown 2020 and 2021. Only we can show up and not just buy our books there and our back issues, but I'm buying my bags there, my boards, and my short boxes. And I'm agreeing to pay the retail markup because it's important to me. My local comic book shop is very important to me. And I want to be part of the solution. I mean, so here I am. I'm just a Joe Q Public, high school graduate, blue collar union tradesperson. And like, then you have to compete with this whole block mentality of the good persons, the white hats of the, it's just, no, I'm not going to agree to that. Jerks. Let's see. I got from Scout Comics, perhaps my last Scout comic ever, is Count Dante number 6. Now, I could not find Count Dante number 5. And guess what? Yule Carter of Fantastic Comics has my Count Dante number 5, and it's in my stack of comic books that I'm just, we're going through some back issues now because, make it worth the postage and the purchase. And we're it'll all happen. But yeah, this is Count Dante. You might know Count Dante if you're an old geezer like me. He had the Kung Fu advertisements in those old Bronze Age comic books. And this is the semi-true story, the unauthorized but sort of true story of the deadliest man who ever lived. And it comes to an end. Why do I say it's my last Scout Comics? Well, Scout Comics is they're an indie. And I've tried a few of their comics, and they're okay. But one thing, if you watch the show, you know that I have issues with too much reliance on digital art. Like, this is a $4.99 comic book, And I'm like, I don't mean over 6 issues, you know what I mean? It's $30. You know what I mean? The trade paperback is probably going to cost $25, of course. But there's a heavy, it looks, I don't want to pay top dollar for a comic book that looks like it got drawn on an iPad, you know, and just, it lacks organic line. It lacks charm. I'm a fan of traditional pencils and inks. I know that we cannot get away from digital coloring. I know that it's hard to get away from digital lettering. And that's kind of the shape of modern comics. But the more traditional art I can get, the more appreciative I am. And I don't want to waste money in physical space on comics that I'm just so unsatisfied with. Now, this is a fun comic, and it's done in a way that, you know, it looks like a Bronze Age Marvel comic, and it has fake ads. I mean, I love these fake ads. So this is totally in my wheelhouse. This is totally like meant to evoke a Bronze Age baby of the mid 70s, where Count Dante came from. So it's pretty cool. Let's see, what else do we got? We've got Action Comics 1059, written mostly by Philip Kennedy Johnson. I've been reading Action Comics since 1051. And it's really fun. I really like Philip Kennedy Johnson's writing. I'm also following him over on Marvel with his Hulk. I'm not buying Green Lantern War Journal, which is his John Stewart book. I read it in my digital pirate chest, but it's a lot of modern purple and a lot of modern, you know, these, you know, the thing about digital assisted art, I hear from professional and commercial artists that it saves a lot of time for them. Sure. And that, you know, one artist in particular, he told me on Twitter, Matt Barr, you know, he's on the CG side of things, but he was like, I'm a commercial artist, and this has given me more time to spend with my family, which I can dig that. I can really understand that. Sure. And, and check this out. The Keith Giffen memorial page. Ain't that cool? And, but this is really cool. It has the entire Superman family. He's got Power Girl, Supergirl, Superboy, Connor Kent, his son John Kent. He's got 2 Steels and John Henry Irons and Natasha. He's got the twins from War World, you know, and he's got also Kenan Kong, the Superman of China. And I love his costume. I love the Superman logo. If you know, you've seen the that's my logo. I drew that. That's a Superman logo in a way. That's an Om, the holy syllable Om in Hinduism. I drew that myself, and the iconic Superman colors and the diamond configuration. So I call that the super mantra. So I love the Superman logo. It thrills me. But this has great art, great stories, and it's got 2 backup features. One featuring Kenan Kong and the Superman of China, and also the Batman of China, who's body positive. You imagine that, huh? A body positive Batman. Cool. But also, this is the one. Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. Check that out. I love the yin and yang on the Superman logo. Come on, look at that. That's it. Look, that's like in my super mantra, my super Om, and this super yin and yang. I want that on a T-shirt. I want that T-shirt. I really do. But then comes The Heart of A Heart in Metropolis, written by Dan Parent, art by Marguerite Sauvage, and of whom has that digital style. I mean, this is digital line art. I really, you know, I think Marguerite Sauvage has like really decent line work, but it's like, I mean, look at the back. I mean, like all these like lacks of backgrounds. It's because you're counting on your colorist now to add, speed effects and colors to make up for the fact that you've been cutting corners. AL, no, they're not saying Chinese people are bad. They're saying that this particular person is one. AL, don't kill me. She's Chinese too. I mean, so you're Chinese, right, AL? Or let me know in the comment section here. But you've seen this all weekend on Twitter, the bubble bath scene about John Kent and his boyfriend, Jay Nakamura. But there is no fighting in this. There's no action. The only action you get in this is kissing with these boys. But they're not boys. They're young men. But that's it. I mean, there's this. It's a romance comic in my action comic, exactly. But I mean, I was talking on Twitter about this very panel with a Twitter friend of mine. You might know him, Jesse Blaze Snyder. He's also the son of Dee Snyder of Twisted Sister, and Jesse Snyder's a really awesome dude. And he's like, "What the heck is up with this?" Because he writes comic books. He's written for Marvel. He's written for DC. He's he's doing his own crowdfunded one right now. And but my balance of that goes back to yes, gay people are here to stay. You know what I mean? It's the 21st century. But I mean, my counter to this, it's boring art. Exactly, Dwayne. I agree. And there was no action in action comics, right? It's a slice of life story. And it's like, and I get it. I guess John Kent's thing is he wants to be more peaceful. You know what I mean? And not solve problems with his fists. But that's what we do in superhero comics. It's like you're totally misreading your own genre. It's but my thing was so Jesse said that on Twitter, but I responded saying devil's advocate. We've been seeing Dick Grayson and Corey and Babs kiss for decades. So it's once again, the positive parts of normalization are gay characters. You have gay people in your life, they're going to kiss. That's how they show love and affection to each other. That's how everyone does in a way, if you're in a relationship. Okay. And in a personal story, I had a gay roommate for 4 years. It was an old friend of mine. Let's call him MS. And he had bought a condo, and he threw a party, a housewarming party, and he had a spare bedroom in his condo. And he's like, "Well, I'm going to rent out this room, perhaps." And I'm like, "Dude, I'd live with you." He was my ex-girlfriend's roommate, so we already had lived together in a way. I was over there all the time, and he was like, "Dude, I would live with you totally too." So I moved in, and I'll be completely honest with you, it kind of grossed me out to see him and his boyfriend making out on the couch. But you know what? I got over it. I did. And because that's just life, and that's love, and that's people, and people I love. You know what I mean? So maybe the whole push for normalization, I get it. We should be able to choose where and when we see certain things. But as I said, devil's advocate, we've been seeing straight people kissing comics ever since the 1930s. And we are in the future now. So, yeah, there's that. So yeah, that was Action Comics. I'll be tuned into Action Comics. I might tune away when Jason Aaron takes over the book, because I follow the writers and I follow Philip Kennedy Johnson. Let's see. We've got 3 more books left. We've got this, a complete authentic reprint of an old 1980 comic. And now, if you tuned in last week, I got Uncanny X-Men 141, the first part of this 2-parter, The Days of Future Past, one of the most seminal X-Men stories ever. And look, this has all the old advertisements. This is where you would find your Count Dante ad, like over here, like in one of these, you know, and look, the quintessential Hostess ad. Oh, isn't that so cool? But John Byrne art written by Chris Claremont. This is going on my spinner rack with the rest of them, and I love these facsimile comics. It's really nice. And these were the first these two X-Men comics, 141 and 142, were the first comics I bought off these were the first wall comics I bought as a kid as a teenager in the mid 1980s. They were behind they were on the wall behind the counter at New England Comics in Quincy, Massachusetts, way back when it was in the Rotary in their first store. So and they're long gone, but it's nice to have these. I like this a lot, and you know, but still $4.99, you know, for a reprint. See, $4.99 is going to be Marvel's going up to $4.99 any minute now. So the rest of the line wide. Now this one's got one more issue left, $7.99. So they're $8 a piece. 8 times 6, that's going to be $48 for this. But it's Frank Miller's Ronin Book 2. And Frank Miller writes the story. He does the breakdowns, and then Philip Tan finishes, and Daniel Enriquez inks it. And then we have authentic lettering by John Workman, who's a classic Silver, Bronze Age, Copper Age letterer. And every page is a splash page. I can't tell you what's going on in the story. I mean, the story beguiles me. I didn't really even like Ronin 1 all that much in the early mid 80s. I mean, it wasn't my cup of tea. But this book is just so good as art goes, as real pencils, real inks, real lettering, no ads, and it's the flagship of Frank Miller Presents, of his own printing publication, his own press. I think that's awesome. I was at it was earlier this year in April. I was at Wicked Boston Comic Con, and I spoke to Dan DiDio, who is like one of the publishers and editors and writers of Frank Miller Presents. He was also, you know, like him or hate him, he was the editor-in-chief of DC Comics for the better part of 2 decades. And he's such a magnanimous, entertaining, energetic, knowledgeable, and dynamic individual. He literally sold me on this. He kept turning the page and being, "Hey, dude, look, splash page, splash page, splash page." And I'm like, look at that art. And he literally sold this on me. I did not buy it with him there at the table. I chose to buy it at my local comic book shop. But this is a quality comic book, and I'll go back and read it when it's all complete. It's like I said, I can't tell you what's going on in the story. I mean, it's just but I'm just in love with the art and just the lettering. This is a comic book for me personally. And last but not least, coming out once a week for the last 5 weeks, the last issue will come out next week, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin reprint. It's a little oversized. You can see the size difference here. Just a little oversized here. Here, pull back a little. Here we go. Yeah. And it's written by Eastman and Laird, and it has some authentic old style Turtles artwork in this. I was huge into Turtles in the Mirage days in high school. This is about the last Ninja Turtle and about having flashbacks and losing Splinter and losing his 3 brothers and coming back to New York City and taking it back for the people. And it's about being reunited with April and her daughter, Casey Jones. daughter of Casey Jones. And this is some good stuff. And I'm looking for, I missed out on this when it released initially. So this is a great excuse for someone like me to get back into it and check this out for the first time. And I'm really pleased with it. This is literally the title that's keeping IDW in business right now. So lots of people love The Last Ronin. It's a fun story, and it really captures the energy of the old Mirage days. I don't know much about the IDW continuity, which is a separate continuity than the pre-existing Mirage books. And this fits with the old Mirage stuff. So this is basically the coda of the Mirage years. And they will be parlaying this into a new generation of turtles. Why not? Well, thank you so very much for hanging with me on my first live stream. I swear this is great. Thank you so very much. We'll be doing episodes on Wednesday and Sundays from going forward for a while. And we'll finish the year with some dailies, finishing off that last long box of Funnybooks, reboarding, reboxing, and rebagging my entire collection. Well, we're almost done. We are there. And it's taken all year to do. And it's been really fun, really educational, and getting my head around grading and valuing my comics. And they really need new boxes. They need boards, and they need a lot of them need new bags. So it's good to, give back some love to my collection. And it's good to see everyone in the chat. Thank you so very much for showing up, everyone. This is great. And yeah, maybe we'll try again next week for another live stream and see how that goes. And but thank you so much for being part. You are the best. You are the greatest ingredient in our recipe. Seriously, this ongoing comic book shop style conversation. I appreciate you. I am blessed. I am grateful. And you know what? God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again in those funny pages. Ha ha! All right, from Pika, Trinka, and Jay, the Canadian Bear. Thank you so very much. You have a great day, and we'll see you again on Wednesday. Ciao. Bye-bye.